While there are both good and bad episodes of How I Met Your Mother, only a handful can be considered masterpieces. Every season of How I Met Your Mother has its peaks and valleys, but like any sitcom, certain episodes stand out and define the show. Everyone has their own list of best episodes of How I Met Your Mother, but we can all agree that certain episodes are just iconic and should not be left out. This includes emotional, game-changing moments that directly impacted the rest of the series as well as standalone episodes that were just hilarious. 10. The Best Burger in New York. Season 4, Episode 2. Allison Hannigan as Lily and Jason Segel as Marshall eating burgers at a restaurant, next to a photo of Regis Philbin, in the How I Met Your Mother episode, The Best Burger in New York. The Best Burger in New York focuses on the gang's attempts to help a depressed and unemployed Marshall on his nostalgic journey to find a burger he once ate years ago. From Regis Philbin's How I Met Your Mother cameo to Robin's desperate need to eat, The Best Burger in New York is full of hilarious moments. This episode also provides us with some interesting context on the earlier days of Ted and Marshall's friendship. While we see a lot of the pair during their college years, we don't learn so much about their beginnings in New York. The Best Burger in New York is a great episode that viewers can watch without needing to see the rest of the show. 9. Stuff. Season 2, Episode 16. Both subplots in Stuff are brilliantly enjoyable. On one side of the story, Ted and Robin's relationship in How I Met Your Mother hits turbulence when the pair start arguing over keeping gifts from exes, and on the other, Barney torments Lily with his one-man play after she forces him to sit through a performance of her own, Barney repeating the word moist and sharing a story of a robot falling in love with a toaster oven is ridiculous, but also comedy gold. It's also really interesting to learn that Robin's dogs all came from her past lovers, and while it's disappointing she gets rid of them in this episode because of Ted, at least she gets more again in the finale. 8. The Pineapple Incident. Season 1, Episode 10. Josh Radnor as Ted Mosby waking up and looking confused at the pineapple next to him in the How I Met Your Mother episode, The Pineapple Incident. The Pineapple Incident marks the beginning of one of How I Met Your Mother's recurring jokes and mysteries throughout the show, which doesn't actually get a conclusion for several seasons. After Ted wakes up from a one-night stand with whom he believes to be Robin, he tries to piece together the events of the night before as he tries to figure out who the girl in his bed is. Ted is also confused why he has a pineapple on his nightstand. There are many hilarious moments in this episode. Barney and Ted's theory that Carl is a vampire, Ted sharing his karaoke fact with anyone who will listen, and him returning to McLaren's every time someone puts him to bed. 7. Monday Night Football. Season 2, Episode 14. Ted wearing the sensory deprivator 5000 as he tries to collect the wings from the bar in the How I Met Your Mother episode, Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football has a ridiculous premise, which sees the gang attempt to watch the Super Bowl one day late and avoid any spoilers, but it's one that many groups of friends have possibly considered doing before. It's hilarious to see each member of the gang try to stop themselves from finding out the final score. For example, Robin somehow convinces those at the TV station to alter her teleprompter so she doesn't find out. Ted also creates the stupidly funny sensory deprivator 5000 headgear, and the scene in which he tries to collect the chicken wings is absolutely hysterical. Ultimately, none of them succeed, but they enjoy the game anyway. 6. Spoiler alert. Season 3, Episode 8. Ted taking a sip of wine at dinner with Kathy as she chats in the How I Met Your Mother episode, Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert is full of iconic How I Met Your Mother phrases and audio gags. Ted introduces his new girlfriend, Kathy, who talks non-stop, but this is something only the other members of the gang start to notice. As Marshall stresses about accessing his results on the bar exam, the gang starts lashing out at one another and pointing out their flaws. The sound of glass smashing as each of them becomes aware of something is hilarious, especially when flashbacks reveal that Kathy is far chattier than audiences realize at the start of the episode. Marshall singing Everything is brilliant, too, and the sing-songy way of him remembering his password is a great vocal stim. 5. Girls vs. Suits. Season 5, Episode 12. The How I Met Your Mother cast, all dressed in suits, singing and dancing in the street in the episode Girls vs. Suits. Girls vs. Suits is a fantastic episode and one of the show's most iconic outings. After Barney meets the new suit-hating bartender at McLaren's, he sets off a plan of action to trick her into believing he isn't obsessed with his statement garments. Interestingly, this is Neil Patrick Harris' favorite How I Met Your Mother episode. This episode also sees Ted make some progress in finally finding his one, although it's still a while off. Ted goes out on a date with Cindy in Girls vs. Suits, and it's comical to see him pick out and fawn over little things in her apartment, initially unaware that they all belong to Tracy instead. 4. The Playbook. Season 5, Episode 8. Lily, Robin, Marshall, and Ted talking to Barney while he is dressed as a scuba diver at McLaren's in the How I Met Your Mother episode, The Playbook. Barney's playbook in How I Met Your Mother is a notable part of his character, and in the Season 5 episode, The Playbook, we finally get to see the physical collection of his womanizing gimmicks. The episode brilliantly jumps back and forth in time, confusing audiences at first with the image of Barney at McLaren's in a full scuba suit. The Lorenzo von Matterhorn is by far one of Barney's most ludicrous and extensive plays, and this episode highlights just what extent the character will go to just to woo an unassuming woman. Hilariously, the scuba diver play actually ends up being an elaborate con on Lily. 3 Days of Snow. Season 4, Episode 13. Marshall and Lily reuniting at the airport, surrounded by a marching band, in the How I Met Your Mother episode, 3 Days of Snow. 3 Days of Snow is a really wholesome episode for Lily and Marshall's relationship. While Ted and Barney take over McLaren's during a snowstorm, Marshall and Lily struggle to uphold their adorable traditions when it comes to one of them flying into an airport. It's briefly heartbreaking when How I Met Your Mother reveals the events of the episode are actually spread across 3 days. However, there's still a happy ending. Lily still manages to arrive with a keg, as an alternative to a six-pack, and Marshall ensures he collects her from the airport, but this time, with a full marching band in tow. This episode is brilliant, and it hilariously points out just how unprepared Ted is for a settled-down life like his best friends, despite his claims.